So part 2, the pop-up shop solution. In this part, we're going to focus on the solution part of it, and I'm going to give you, because I like this to be a bit of fun. I mean, we've been on this call now for a couple of hours, so we do need to kind of shake it up. In fact, we might need to shake it up and move around a bit, because there is a lot of stuff to take in. So, you know, I like to make it fun. We're going to have a spot the difference. We've already done a word search. We're going to look at the strategy side of it, so the purpose of doing a pop-up. We're going to look at it from different perspectives, the retailer and customer journey perspectives. Like, remember when I talked about the bin, that was 2 different perspectives when we looked at the focal points. And then what makes you stand out? So what's your USPs? So again, you've got your ideas book and you've got checklists for this one at the end of it, and you can ask any questions as well. Pop-up shop solution. What is a pop-up? So it's a space where you can promote your business, you can present your products, or you can showcase your services. And you've got this pop-up opportunity to do that within Sook space. So Sook space is a pop-up space within the Metrocentre, but they've got it in other locations as well. And it's a place that you can hire out. So this is the university have done this, but it's something that you could either do by yourself, or you could, as a collective, decide to rent out a space. The brilliant thing with a pop-up is you can be on Oxford Street in London if you want. Now, yes, it might cost you a bit more, but can you imagine having a shop in Oxford Street in London? You know, how could you do that any other way until you've moved yourself up that ladder? There's other businesses as well that do this. So there's another company called Appear Here. Literally, you could have a pop-up in New York or in Paris. So you can dream big. You can decide where in the world you'd like to pop up with your business. Central Station, for example, if you go onto the map, you can pop up for a day, you can pop up for a week. You know, you can choose how long you pop up for. You've also then got to take the other things that I'm going to go through into consideration. The benefits of a pop-up. So they're cost effective, they're time limited, they can be flexible, they're a temporary space to market your business. So you can test things out within a pop-up. Sorry, I'm talking too long now. So yeah, the pop-ups, they're ephemeral. They can be about specific activities. So they can exist for various periods of time. It can be as short as a day, it could be a week, it could be a month. You know, you can decide how long you're going to have it for. I would recommend that they're experiential. They're about the customer experience. You can interact with them, you can engage with them. It's not just about putting stuff onto shelves and then leaving it. Flexible. So different spaces, different sizes. You can be flexible in the strategy. Why is it that you want to do that pop-up? From a novelty point of view as well, it could be that, you know, you're there specifically because it's a certain time in the season. So it might be that, you know, you're only there for Christmas. It could be for one day only, that kind of thing. So there's different characteristics to a pop-up and different kinds of activities as well. So it might be, I would categorize it into shop, stands and experiences. So a shop could be to promote products. So it can be a temporary retail space. It's more for business to clients mindset. So with a pop-up shop, what you're there for, the main reason that you're there for is for selling. With pop-up stands, that's normally for service-based businesses. So you are showcasing your services. An example of this, for example, is later on this week, you've got Northeast Expo. So at Northeast Expo, you don't tend to go along to Northeast Expo necessarily to buy things. It's more to connect with businesses. Whereas Living North, people go more, that was more of a pop-up shop where people were selling things. Pop-up stands or temporary showrooms. So think about it like an exhibition stand. Often that's a business to business strategy, and it's more about showing what you do. And then the third thing is pop-up experience. So really, the chocolate fountain was I wasn't selling something. I wasn't connecting with my target. Well, it was the bride's target audience. It was about the experience. Then you've got the space only or the shell schemes. So a space only is where you've got a floor space. You don't have walls. It's an empty space for you to create. There might not be a sign there or anything, or you might have optional extras where you can get a table, get a power outlet, get chairs. The other thing would be something like a shell scheme. So for example, the space only would be something like Northeast Expo. If you ever go to that, people then bring along their own banners, and they can bring along their own tables, or it may be that they hire a table from the person that's running it. Shell schemes are something like Living North. So you've got a temporary structure, you've got modular walls, you've got an empty shell for you to decorate, you've got a sign, then optional extras as well. So I would say that a pop-up shop in Sook space is more like a shell scheme, although within it, you've got the space. If you haven't got the whole shop, you've got the space. So thinking about the characteristics, you know, some of these characteristics that we've talked about, how would you incorporate those into your pop-up shop? And what's Corin done? Now, for this one, although I've got Corin's picture there, this is when I say about experiential learning. You can reach out to Corin and ask about these things. You know, when we're at the event, you can talk to Corin about her experience about running pop-ups. So if we go to your book for this one, we're looking at page 11, and it's thinking about your retail experience with the characteristics. You know, are you going there to sell something? Are you going there to show products? Is it interacting with clients? Is it a space only? Is it a shell scheme? Why are you there? How long are you there for? So you know specifically for the one in the Metrocentre, how long you're there for, the reasons behind it. That customer experience, how are you going to interact with customers? How are you going to get the engagement? All those kind of things. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to just write down, thinking about when you're going into the Sook space, what the characteristics are and the activities that you're going to do when you get into that space. So your space in Sook, it is very time limited, so it's worth thinking about what it is, you know, what you're going to take there, what's the reason for being there, how are you going to interact with people so you can make the most of the time and the opportunity you've been given. So pop-ups, they have become tried and tested marketing strategies for all types of businesses. And I don't know if you realise this, but Innocent, you know, Innocent Drinks, well, they started as a pop-up. So the story behind Innocent is that there were these three guys that went to university together, and sorry, yeah, they went to university together, and they came up with an idea about innocent drinks, you know, coming up with some drinks, healthy drinks. And the first way that they tested the market was actually with the pop-up. So they went to a festival and they gave people drinks, some samples, some free samples of the products that they were thinking about making, and they had 2 bins. And the signs on the bins said, they asked people, do you think we should give up the day job? And they had bins marked yes and no. And what they did was ask people to put the cups in the bins. And you can read the story on the Instant website. I think it goes that, you know, how the bin was full of yes cups, and I think that said that the no bin had a few cups in, and that was their parents, you know, people that were saying to them, no, you shouldn't give up your day jobs. But yeah, they used that as a market research tool So, you know, they didn't necessarily sell anything in that first pop-up. In fact, it took them, I think it was a year or so before they really started to sell their products. So they can be used for all sorts of different ways. And then they still had, you know, pop-ups at festivals. I love Innocent. In fact, if you want to look at any, I think it's Instagram's best, you know, from when I talk about the power of three and different ways of displaying your products, Innocent Smoothies have got a fantastic way of displaying their products. So yeah, the stories kind of come full circle. So they were founded in 1998, 2013, Coca-Cola company bought 90% of the shares and they estimated that as 100 million. So where are you going to be? Where are you heading? Possible with a pop-up. They've just proved it. So yeah, I mean, it is a tried and tested strategy. So you're on the right tracks, you know, having a pop-up for your business. So looking at this, spot the difference. So there's the pop-up shop. This was a table display that we did with Powder Butterfly. And then obviously Corinne knew then how to display our products. So then she moved on to, this is Living North from quite a few years back. And then what she's doing there is she's got a banner for our business. She's used some material. So she's started to cover over, you know, the shell scheme that you get there. I've worked with clients before where we've used wallpaper or material or something so that it makes it look more like an environment rather than the fact that you've got a table within a stand. Other things, you know, having material that you can put on the table so that you can hide things underneath. So you can see Corinne's kind of moved from the table to this one. And then a pop-up when House of Fraser was around. That was her display in House of Fraser. And then moving on to Sook space. So you can see each time she's kind of like taken it up a level, moved on, changed some of the products around. You know, now she's got professional photographs taken of herself. She's got images of the products as well. So it's a gradual thing. But because she knew from the beginning, she knew those basic principles, she's been able to apply them along the journey. Now, this was an interesting one because I went to see Corinne when she was in House of Fraser and Gia was beside her. Now, I didn't know this lady. I've never met her before. I looked at her stand and I was like, oh, I've got some advice for you. I was like, would you mind if I give you some advice here on the stand? Because I looked at it and I thought there's so much more she could do to make it better. Because I got talking to her, you know, and it was Father's Day was coming up. And I was like, oh, my husband likes chocolate, so I'll get him some chocolate. So when I looked closer, I could see that she had some special offers on, you know, 3 bars for one price, 5 bars for another. And that was great because as I started to sample it, it was like, oh, I like that one. I like that one. So I didn't have to make a decision. And Father's Day was coming up. So I thought, do you know what? I'm going to buy him a gift. So I handed my money over and she handed me a gift bag with the chocolate in it. And it was like, whoa, hang on a minute. Honestly, I need to help you with this stand. Can I just show you something? So this was about 20 minutes later. Literally, there is nothing on that table that wasn't there before. This is just with a bit of knowledge and a bit of moving around. Yeah. So when I got talking to her, I realized there was these hidden baskets behind. And I was like, why are the baskets behind? And she's going, well, oh, it's just so that I've got, you know, I've got extra stock to be able to sell. And I was like, but they look lovely. Why are you not presenting those at the front? And then when she gave me the chocolate, it was in this beautiful gift bag. It was like, you've solved a problem for me. Not only have you given me, you know, an idea for Father's Day, it's kind of come gift wrapped as well. So that's like box ticked. Because what you are doing when you're selling products is you are solving a problem for somebody. But you've not thought about it like that. And then again, when the chocolates were at the front, it was like, I'd already started actually to put some of the boxes out here. And then I was like, whoa, hang on a minute. When she handed over the gift bag, I was like, right, I'm going to have to help you a bit more here. So it was like, well, if you're sampling the chocolates, put the chocolates beside them. So that visual connection. And then show that you get 3 bars for this price and you get 5 bars for another price, and put them on display. The other thing that I said to her was, you know, have a sign. If you've got Father's Day coming up, people don't always connect the dots. So let them know that Father's Day is a week or two's time, because it gives them a reason to buy. And lastly, she'd been featured in, I think it was called, actually, I've forgotten. It was a TV program, and she was featured on that with her chocolate bars. She had this bit of paper just stuck to the front. It was like, get a sign made of that, get that at the back, you know. So anybody, if you're award winning, if you've got stuff like that that you feel kind of proud of, but probably a little bit embarrassed as well, don't care. Get it out there, because people need to know that you're award winning, that you've appeared, you know, on a shop, that you've got 5-star reviews. It might be that you've got the 5-star standard, you know, for the food hygiene, all of those things. Put that on your stand, because we're trying to build the know, like, and trust bit. So this is what you can do with a bit of knowledge, bit of time, no extra spend, just thinking about it. This is a task that I'm going to give you to look at. Well, I'm saying it's a task. It's actually a bit of a fun thing, because we're going to do that spot the difference, you know, for this experiential learning. You've got on page 12, you've got these 2 photographs, and I want you to have a think about them. You know, which one offers the best customer experience? Which one do you prefer? Pop-up A, pop-up B, and why? So I'm going to give you, again, a few minutes. I'm going to give you, well, I'll give you this time 5 minutes for this one, because if you need to go off and make a cuppa or whatever, obviously take some time to do that as well. Have a think about this, and then we'll come back in the room and then we'll talk about this one. So what difference did you spot, and which one do you prefer? Who would like to join in? Anybody who'd like to unmute and tell me what you saw?
Pop-up B just seems so much more welcoming. I mean, for starters, the sign's got an image of a dog on, so it's obvious, you know, who the customer is. But then they've got,
and that's really interesting. Sorry to break into it, but because the question is as well, who is the customer? Is the customer the dog, or is the customer the dog owner? But that's a good point. Yeah, so that, I mean, they've got a bed for the dog to lie in, they've got a water pot for the dog. It looks like they've got their own dog behind there. They're obviously like really engaged, whereas pop-up A, for starters, the tablecloth is wonky and it's doing my head in. But if you looked at it without the word dog on the sign, it wouldn't say dog to me. Yeah.
There's no sort of visual cues.
Great points. So anybody else would like to add what they saw? Ray, are you unmuted?
Yeah, it's the fact you've got a car park right in the back of it as well. It's not good display.
It's very true.
Yeah, and it's dark.
What was your eye drawn towards? The car?
The sign on the right, actually.
Yeah.
First, and then, but there's nobody there either.
Yeah.
I think engagement, personal engagement, a smile.
Very true.
Does do a lot.
Yeah. Anybody else see anything in these pictures? Right. Well, I am going to tell you.
Too much writing on the first sign. It's all words, and it's too much to, like,
too complicated.
Yeah. No one's going to stand there and read it all. Well, somebody might, but I wouldn't.
You see, I love the fact that you're now seeing these things, because it might have been before, it might have been a feeling where you would walk past, but now you're starting to be able to kind of go, I see this, I see that, I understand why that's so. I've just seen Louise has put a note in saying the second one water bowl would give me a go. Yeah, as I'm a rubbish human, forget water for doggo. So that's exactly it. I was at an event, so this was a dog day, went along, and I saw that first stand. Now I did change the names because I want to protect these companies, because again, when I do this training, it's not to say, you know, these businesses are really bad, so I have actually changed the name of them so that you don't know who they are, but these were real stands, and that was a real sign. And I saw that dog treat one, luxury dog treats. Now they were actually off to one side, the other side there was a car there. They were sat in the car, probably having lunch. So yeah, practical, you've got to eat, all that kind of thing. The dogs were actually in the back of the car. The tailgate was open, but they did have the dogs kind of almost like caged off in the back of the car. So there was nobody there interacting with you. Luxury dog treats, that sign to me, yeah, you're never going to read all those words. And I changed the name, but apart from that, that's what the sign looked like. Now, to me, that feels like almost like a barrier, like a full stop, like me doing that to you, saying, do not come in. You know, it's like putting that sign out there. If you look at it originally, like initially you might go, oh, it's on brand. They've got a tablecloth that kind of goes in with their brand, and they've put some flowers in there, and they've, why though? Why? You know, what purpose does it, like you say, does it say dog treats, luxury dog treats? So they may think that they've ticked quite a lot of the visual merchandising boxes because they've made a display that looks quite nice, but it doesn't function properly. So exactly what Louise was saying with the dog, I was with my dog at this event, it was like, oh, she hasn't got any water. Spotted this other stand that had a bowl of water, took my dog up, so that's not me with my dog, took my dog up so she could have a drink. What's happening while the dog's drinking? The lovely lady behind us is then saying to me, oh, hello, are you having a good day? Oh, would your dog like a treat? Well, what question is that? Of course my dog would like a treat. She hands me a free treat. I give it to the dog. What am I now thinking about her and our business? I'm thinking, oh, isn't she lovely? What a lovely business. So as my dog's eating and drinking, I then feel like, well, you know, she's given me something. I need to interact and give something back. So I'm looking at products and stuff like that. I wasn't actually in the kind of the mood or the position to buy that day. I didn't go out looking for a dog collar and stuff. So, you know, I wasn't going to buy from her, not because the products weren't fabulous, not because I didn't like her, just because it wasn't something I was looking for. However, she then said to me, oh, we've got a competition running at Christmas time to win some accessories. Would you like to be added to my mailing list? I was like, yeah, of course, that would be brilliant. So that she then took my details. So she hadn't made a sale. But what she did do was she'd actually made contact with somebody who could be a potential customer, so we could keep in touch. And in fact, what she has done is, our stuff's up there now. I should probably go back to her and tell her how I use her in all of these display things. But you know, that was through giving free water for dogs. It was kind of thinking outside the box, and like you were saying about who's the customer, you know, well, actually in some respects the customer's the dog. The humans have the money to buy the stuff, but it's the dog that you are looking after. So although the other one, it was luxury dog treats, they weren't giving away any treats, anything. So it's like, yeah, I just find that this is all quite intriguing about how it's the perception of it. You know, stand A possibly would go away from that show saying that was useless, it was awful, I didn't get anything out of it. We sold nothing. I won't be going back there again. It was, you know, it was bad. There was hardly anybody there. Sometimes there doesn't have to be many people there. It just has to be the right people. Whereas pop-up B might have gone, you know what? I didn't sell much stuff, but I've got 20 people here added to my waiting list that I can then send, you know, their email addresses to. They're going to be part of the Christmas campaign. You know, there's 20 people I've interacted with, even if she didn't sell, and she did sell products, but, you know, even if she hadn't, she was creating that experience, going back to that. People will remember, you know, how you made them feel. Yeah. So that's that one.